Nitrado's UI isn't the most user-friendly, so in this video, I'm going to walk you through it and make it easy. Section 1, renting your server. First things first, head over to nitrado.com and create an account. From the home page, click on Game Server or pick Ark directly from the list. Choose your package. Most people go with a 20-slot server for 30 or 90 days. You can test things with as little as a 3-day rental if you want to, but 30 days is more typical, though you do save a little if you pay for 3 months or 6 months or more in advance. If you'd rather pay month to month, though, you can set up autopay so you don't forget to renew your server. And by the way, if for some reason you and your friends get tired of Ark or want to take a break, you can switch the server to a different one of the over 100 games Nitrado hosts, and play that for a while, and then switch back to Ark. And Nitrado will still have your Ark map save backup, so you can pick up right where you left off. Actually, you can have up to 5 different games installed on your server at the same time, but only one game can be active at a time. But it will still save your backups of the other games, and you can quickly and easily switch your server between them. Or you can switch between up to 5 different Ark maps with just one server. Let me know in the comments if you'd like a video on how to do that. If you're going to rent a server, I would be grateful if you would use my link to do so. It is in the description and pinned comment, and I'll pop it up on the screen here with a QR code for anyone watching on their TV. You can scan it with your phone. Doing that helps out the channel a lot, and it doesn't cost you any extra. So I would be very grateful. Thanks. Once you've paid, go to My Services in your account to see your server. Click Web Interface on the one you want to set up. Section 2, setting up your server. General settings versus config files. Your server will be stopped by default. Don't start it yet. You can tweak some settings under Settings General if you want to, but not all the options are there, and it takes a long time to go through all the settings there. The fastest, most complete way is to use Settings Config files. There are 2 key files that you'll be editing: game.ini and gameusersettings.ini, also called gus.ini. I keep my favorite configurations saved in notepad files so that I can copy and paste them into new servers. This can save hours of going through all of the individual settings in the General tab. My settings that I use lightly boost taming and harvesting. They considerably speed up breeding. They set the typical max dino level at 150, boost weight a bit, both for players and dinos, set more convenient stack sizes without needing stacking mods. They include structure pickup and terrain clipping enabled. They're close to vanilla, nothing crazy. I don't mess with XP gain or health or damage or anything like that. But there's some time saving and frustration saving settings included, especially for those who enjoy building. My settings are available for free on my Patreon page. The link is in the description. I repeat, they are there for free. You can become a free member or a paid member if you want to support my work, but it's not required. The files are posted there publicly. And you're going to want to click on the link to the Google Drive document. That's just the easiest way to select all. If you can't access that for some reason, all the same text is also posted in the body of the post there on Patreon. So either way works. To apply my settings, open game.ini, select all, Control A on a PC, and then copy it, and then switch over to the Nitrado window. And you'll want to select all that is currently in the game INI. Paste my settings in there instead. If there is anything in there, though, you will want to replace it with my setting. Be very careful to get the right file in the right place. Don't mix them up. If you put the game user settings file into the game.ini or vice versa, it won't work. Your server won't boot up. Then for the GUS, for the game user settings INI, Do the same thing, copy the Gus settings file, switch over to the Nitrado UI, switch to the game user settings, use select all, and then paste mine in. Make sure that it's replacing what's already in there. You don't want settings to be duplicated. And then for the game user settings, there is an additional step that you need to take because there are some things in there that have to be customized. So you'll want to use find is the easiest way. Just use Control F or Command F to pop up this little search window. And then you can use that to locate lines that are marked with an asterisk. Just type an asterisk in the search bar, and then it will flag all the places in the document there that have that asterisk. And those are the places that you need to customize. There are 5 different spots with an asterisk that you will want to edit. There's your admin password. There's the Archon port. And if you look at the dashboard of the server, it will be on there. You just have to copy that and put that in this spot. Now, the admin password, the first one, is what you're going to use to access admin sheets. If you need to do various admin tasks, if somebody gets meshed, if somebody's dyno falls through the world, if you need to fix some kind of an issue, then you need to enter that admin password in order to access cheats. The server password is what you will enter in order to actually access the server. So the server password is the one you'll be giving out to whatever friends you want to join you on your server. And by the way, just a quick word about that. I don't recommend renting a server expecting to find a ton of strangers to play on it with you. You might get lucky and find that, but there's a lot of places for people to play Ark right now. It can be hard for a server to get up and going if you're trying to get strangers to jump on there and play with you. If you don't set a password and you just throw it up on the list, you might get random people popping in, but they're not likely to be that invested in it, and they may or may not stay. So I really recommend renting it with whatever friends or family you currently play with or who have already expressed a desire to play with you. You know, plan with them or just rent it for, I mean, you can rent a server for just yourself and one other person. There's nothing wrong with that. I know people who just play by themselves, but they rent a server because it just is, it can be more stable sometimes. There can be a lot of benefits to it, especially if you don't have that great of hardware yourself, or if you want to play with a friend or two and don't want to deal with the tether in non-dedicated, or the fact that whoever is acting as the host in non-dedicated has to have their console or PC up and running and be in game in order for the other people playing to be able to access it and do anything on there. With a rented server, it is up all the time if you leave it on, or you can turn it off if you want to. And it is not hosted on your local machine, so there is no host tether at all, which makes it a way better way to play, even with just one other person. I know of families that will rent a family server, and then parents and kids and grandma, grandpa, aunts and uncles, cousins, whatever, will play on there together. And that can be a lot of fun and a great way to hang out with family from far away and make memories together. You know, it's way more fun to go taming an RG with grandpa rather than just calling grandpa on the phone, right? You can eventually set up an exclusive join list, but that's a little bit more complicated to do because you have to get the Ark ID codes for each of the players that you want to allow access to the server. So I may make another short little video about that. Let me know if you would like that. But even if you do end up going with that option, it's a good idea to set a password in the beginning just to get the server up and running so you can test it and stuff. And then when people want to join later on, if you've got family or friends wanting to hop on and join, you can walk them through how to get their Ark IDs and send them to you, and you can get that set up. But to start with, just set some kind of unique password that's not too long and not too hard to remember, but hopefully not too easy to guess either. So using my copy-paste INI that I've been using for years with a few minor tweaks here and there is a way to save hours of your time going through each setting and making individual decisions about each thing. You can always tweak things later on, but these are settings that I know work, so they'll get you up and running, get you started. Using these settings are why, even though you don't need to own a PC in order to rent your own server, I do recommend using a PC for that first initial startup. Doesn't need to be your PC though, since you don't have to download anything. It could be a friend's PC or your mom's PC or whatever. Just open the Nitrado UI in a browser window and open my Patreon page in another browser window where you can copy the server INI to speed your initial setup. And then after it's all set up, you can use the Nitrado mobile app to manage your server, restart it for updates, add or remove mods, make minor settings to changes, etc. It's just, maybe there's a way to copy paste in a phone between other apps and the Nitrado app, but I haven't figured out how to do it just yet. Anyway, if this has been helpful so far, then please pick the like button so this video can spread to more people. Thank you so much. Section 3, Common Setup Issues. Error when applying configs. As the game grows and changes over time and more content is added and things are updated, sometimes the UI adds new required fields. If you see an error message popping up saying required field in the general settings, just fill it in with 0 if it's a setting you don't use. For example, if it's asking about PvP, PvE switching, or search online if you're unfamiliar with what the setting does, or ask on my Discord if you don't know what to set it to. My Discord is a great place to ask questions about servers, by the way. I have a really big server support area there with lots of FAQs to browse and lots of fellow server owners to chat and troubleshoot with. So come join us. The link is in the description. If it seems like your settings are not applying, like your boosted rates and stuff, then one thing to check on is to, under the settings general, make sure that apply official server rates option is disabled. If it's enabled, it will override your boosted rates with the rates that are on official servers. And most people want things a bit more boosted than that. If you have time to play on official, you'd be playing official instead of getting your own server, most likely. So don't enable that one. But if you like event colors, you can enable those separately. You can also enable holiday events whenever you want to, separate from the holiday color sets, which is really fun that they've added this as an option. Now, most holiday events are installed as mods, though. We'll touch on mods in a minute. So right now, the only possible active event in the drop-down here is the 10-year anniversary event. So you can enable that if you want to have party dodos spawning and get those cake slices for boosting, taming, breeding, imprinting, and so forth. But if you just want the color set from, for example, Fear Evolved or Summer Bash, you can enable that without downloading the actual event mod. So you won't have all the other event content, just the colorful dinos. Section 4, Platform and Crossplay Settings. I get the question all the time, how do I rent a server for Xbox? How do I rent a server for PS5? With Ark Ascended, you don't rent specific platform servers separately anymore. You just rent a server for ASA, and then in the general settings page, you can choose your allowed platforms. So you can change this at any time. Be a server that only supports a single platform or multiple, or is fully crossplay. And then when you go to the mods tab, it will only show you mods that can be used for the platforms that you've set it for. So if you only have PC selected, it'll show you all the mods that can be used on PC. If you have a console selected, then it'll show you all the crossplay and console mods. And then about mods, section 5. In the CurseForge Mods tab, you can browse or search for mods and click to add them, just one click, and save changes. If a mod has INI options you can enable, you put those at the bottom of the gus.ini. You leave a blank line, add the mod header between square brackets, and then the INI coding below. Most mods that have INI options, you will find those or a link to them on the Mods CurseForge page. I also have some of my most used mod INI for the mods that I have on my servers posted on my Discord for free. If you want more details about a mod, you can search for it directly on the CurseForge website. Or if you see it on Nitrado here, you can click this little arrow next to its name on Nitrado, and it will pop the Mods CurseForge page open in another browser tab. You'll want to look for mods that have been updated within the last few months or since the most recent big wildcard major patch or map drop for the best stability and support. You can also look at the number of downloads it has. You can check the comments section. Make sure to read through whatever description is given for the mod and get a sense of what the mod does. Many mods, especially if they don't have comments enabled on CurseForge, will have a link to their Discord page. And that can be a great place to find out more about the mod, get troubleshooting help, report bugs, see how other people are using the mod, etc. So for any big mod that you're adding to your server, I always recommend joining the Discord for that mod so that you can be aware of updates, bugs and issues, new features that are being added, and so forth. If you'd like some suggestions of mods to check out, I have a channel in my Discord that has all my current and past server mod lists for some ideas. And I also do have reviews and showcases of quite a few mods on this channel. Here, I'll add a card to the top right of the screen with my top 10 tiny must-have mods. These are mods that each only do one thing but do it very well. And such simple mods are also less likely to cause issues. I love tiny mods. Here's some advice about adding mods, though. I love mods. Mods are amazing. I love hanging out with modders and chatting with them. The Ark modding community is what makes Ark such an amazing game, a big part of it anyway. But go slow with adding mods. Too many people go a little nuts setting up their first modded server, and they just click on every shiny, sparkly mod they see, and before you know it, their server is crashing or won't start up, or people are complaining about having to download 40 mods, 20 gigs worth to join your server. You may have mods conflicting, and it's very hard to pin down what the issue is. It's always easier to add mods than it is to remove them, so go slow with adding them. Because if you remove a mod, of course, all that mod's stuff goes away too. So if you remove a dino mod, all those modded dinos go. If you remove a structure mod, the modded structures from that mod will go poof. If you remove a cryopod mod, all those modded cryos go. If you remove a stack mod, all your stacks of resources go up in smoke. So be very, very careful. Know what each mod does before you add it. Test it in single player even. Don't add two mods that both are changing the same core game mechanic. They are more likely to conflict. Also, just a word of advice, I tend to avoid stack mods as they are more likely to conflict with other mods and cause issues than about any other type of mod. I use custom INI to change stack sizes and boost weight instead. Custom cosmetics are a new kind of mod for ASA. These cannot be installed on a server. They won't even show up if you search for them on Nitrado. These are client-side mods. They are only installed by the end user, not on the server. And then as long as custom cosmetics are enabled on the server, the player can use them. And as long as they have dynamic downloading turned on or have the same custom cosmetic pack, other players will be able to see those cosmetics as well. Custom cosmetics are usually enabled on servers by default, but if for some reason you'd like to disable it or double check that it is enabled, the option is here on the general settings page at the very bottom of this base settings section. Adding mods the right way. You could consider this like section 5B. You'll want to set up your server vanilla first, no mods. Start it up and then go join your own server, make sure it's working, make a character, and then just generally check to make sure everything's working like it should. And then get off, turn the server off, and add a mod or two. Start it up again, get on again. I recommend going into God mode. If you don't know how to do that, I'll explain in a minute. But in God mode, you can see all the engrams and freely fly around and look at stuff. So that makes it easier to tell if modded engrams are showing up on the server and if modded creatures are spawning in. Do this for each mod that you add. Add it, start up the server, get on, check that things are working, then get off again. It takes a while, but it is worth it for the amount of problems that you'll be preventing doing it this way. And then when you go to actually start playing on the server, if you don't want to use a character that was flying around and gaining XP in God mode, you can always dispose of that character and make a new one for your real playthrough. Section 6, starting the server. Remember to always, before you make any changes, stop your server. After editing configs or adding mods, click Save Changes, and then click Start Server. Confirm that when asked. Give it up to 10 minutes, possibly longer for the first time setup. That may sound like a long time, but my gosh, my fellow veterans who played on heavily modded ASE servers will reminisce with me about the days of waiting half an hour, sometimes 40 minutes for a server to load up after a restart. Yeah, it was a lot, but it was worth it. It was still a lot of fun. You'd start up your server and then you'd go wash your dishes, do a load of laundry, pay some bills, go on a jog or whatever, and then come back to check if the server was up yet. Anyway, when you're looking for your server, make sure to check Show Password Protected Servers if you did set a server password. And make sure you're searching in the unofficial server list. And then you'll want to search for the unique name that you gave your server. Section 7, admin commands. So in-game, in order to access your admin commands, you'll want to press Tab or your console's command entry and type enable cheats and then your admin password. Hit enter. Once the cheats are enabled, you won't see any difference at first. It won't do anything visibly. But if you didn't mistype it, then you can use commands like cheat GCM. That's how you go into creative mode. In creative mode, you can fly, you have infinite weight and stats, you don't take damage, all engrams are unlocked. It's a lot of fun for building sometimes, just creatively building without any kind of limitations to figure out a build. But anyway, yes, that's creative mode, and that is a toggle. So to get out of it, you just type cheat GCM again. And what GCM stands for, depending on who you ask, some people say it's give creative mode. Other people say it's God console mode. Either way, that's creative mode. Another cheat that can be really handy, especially for taking screenshots, is cheat set time of day. And then you enter a time.
Or you can also use photo mode to change it while you are in creative mode.
If you need to change the lighting so you can take a screenshot of your base when it's not pitch dark, for example, it's handy for that. You really don't want to do this, guys. You know what? I don't have time for your crap. Let's just do enemy invisible 1. Now they should forget that I'm here. What were we doing over there? I don't remember. Maybe we just decided to go for a swim. After adding any kind of dino mod or mod that affects dinos in any way, you'll want to do a dino wipe, which you can check a box in the general setting to enable a dino wipe every time the server restarts. But I don't usually do that. Sometimes, I'll see a creature that I want to tame later, but I don't get around to it right away. I don't want the creature to just be gone after the daily restart. And so I usually will do dino wipes manually. And so in order to do that, you just cheat, destroy wild dinos, and then hit enter. And what that will do, it will cause a massive lag spike. Just stand still, don't move for a few seconds, and it will immediately poof all the dinos that are on the map. I usually do this standing somewhere where I can see some wild dinos, because then I'll be able to see visibly if it worked. or if I mistyped it again, like I sometimes do. And the reason why you want to do this is because those dinos, the new ones, will not spawn in if the map is already full of creatures. They won't spawn in until there's room for them. Section 8, server management tips. Auto renew. So under my services, up at the top of your game server info here, it says automatic extension, subscription, and enable. And you can click on that in order to enable auto renewals on your server. You can set that up or disable it at any time. If you don't have that set up, then your server will show you how much time is left in your subscription so that you can renew it before that time runs out. Another thing that you're going to want to set up is down here under tools. You'll want to set up under automated tasks a daily restart, because little patches, hot fixes, updates are coming through for Ark all the time. And you probably don't want the server to shut down and restart every time a minor patch comes through, but you do want it to stay up to date. Otherwise, players will have trouble joining it if the player's game has updated, but the server has not. And so the server is on a different version of the game than the player is, then they won't be able to find the server. It won't show up in the list for them at all. So kind of a happy medium. What I tend to do is to set up an automated daily restart here. Pick a time when usually nobody's going to be online on the server, like, 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and set that up. So I have it set up to do that at 3 a.m. every day. And you can set up a restart message like daily restart incoming or whatever, just in case anybody is on. So they'll be aware that the server is about to shut down for a few minutes. Under tools here is also where you can restore from backup if for some reason you need to roll the server back. If there's been some kind of major problem or something, that's where you can do that. You can roll back to a previous save. Be aware, though, that Nitrado doesn't keep all the backups. They only keep like a few days worth of backups typically. And so if you have access to a PC and are able to do it, it's a really good idea to pull your own backups occasionally so that if you want to restore to an earlier version, if it turns out that there's some kind of serious bug or corrupted file and all of your current saves for the last few days end up getting corrupted, you'll have an older one that you can roll back to. If you would like information about how to do that, let me know and I'll make a separate video about it. It's kind of too in-depth to go over right now, right here. Another thing that you will want to know is if you are clustering your server, if you're renting more than one server, or if you're clustering with a friend or something, then you'll want to go here to cross Ark. That's where you set that up. And you'll have this cluster ID here that this is how the game identifies the servers that are supposed to be clustered together. So you can just click to generate a new cluster ID and then send that to your friend or just copy paste it over to a different server UI cross Ark section on that server's interface. You'll just paste it in there so that this is the same on both of those servers. And save it. Make sure to hit save changes. And then these restrictions, this is really cool that it gives you this much granular control over what you can do with it, with the servers. But you can separately enable or disable survivor downloads, item downloads, dino downloads, survivor upload, item upload, dino upload. Downloading player information from remote servers. You can choose if you want to allow foreign dino downloads, like if you want to allow non-aberration dinos to be transferred to aberration, you can set that. If you want to set up a cooldown between dinos being allowed to be re-uploaded, some PvP clusters will do that so that people can't just, download an army and go out and wreak havoc and then be gone again in an hour. They might set it for 24 hours or something like that. So if they come to another server and download dinos, those dinos can't leave for 24 hours. The preventing or enabling downloads and uploads is really useful, though, and you don't want people being able to bring in already leveled up characters or bred up dinos from single player or from other servers. Then you can click to disable those, and they won't be able to download an incredible capped shotgun that they got on a different server from Raptor Claws or something, or they won't be able to download dinos from other places. But if you leave all of this, then they can still upload. So when they're done playing on that server, if they want to upload their character and dinos, gear, whatever, so that they can use it in single player or on another server, then they can do that. If a server is clustered, this doesn't work. If a server is clustered, you can't transfer things outside of the cluster, only within the cluster. A cluster is a closed loop. I need to do another video sometime on clusters. But anyway, just be aware of that if you want to enable or disable any of that. And that's it. Your Ark server is live and ready for you and your friends, whether you want a hardcore survival grind or a more casual server for your family or a themed server. But no matter what you choose to do, you have full control. It is your own little world to set up however you want. And if you used my link or code, thank you so much. It does help support the channel at no extra cost to you. If you've made it to the end, then drop a globe emoji in the comments so I know you're one of my world builders. And if you're curious about mods you might want to add to your server, check out this video next. Have a good one, my friends. I whistled the dimorphs. They're getting slaughtered, but at least they're distracting.
One moment's like, help us on the way! They're jumping the walls. Go on. The shit. Oh, there's a Karcher gun. It's in the water.